We were understanding and we are undergoing a journey of the self-enquiry. Last session we had a deviation about how to become a seeker. What are the minimum qualifications are required and how to go about it. We have to understand clearly that knowledge of the Eastern wisdom is all about I am. And the entire knowledge of the science is all about what I am not. Material science. Material world, knowledge of the material world can give me a luxury but cannot give me peace. If you go to a doctor and go to the science and ask them, can you remove the attachment? No, they cannot. It is the subject matter of Eastern wisdom. It has nothing to do with the attachment, the fear. The knowledge of the world is objective knowledge, and knowledge of the knowledge of the entire science, the material world, they can offer the convenience, but they cannot give me the peace. Once that knowledge is settled, we can change. But if the knowledge is not settled, then what happens? What does it mean by settling the knowledge? I can easily understand. We all have an intellect and we can easily understand these principles. So understanding is not a problem. Internalization of that knowledge is a big challenge. Now see the one scenario, the knowledge is internalized. I can bet you will never miss a lesson. Why? Because you know the cause of suffering is ignorance, cause of suffering. That is what this master is talking about, the root cause of the suffering. I know it. For the sake of the desire, I skipped the session. Oh, no, I missed it. Why I missed it? That needs to be clearly what happened and what you need to do it. You just play with these principles. Once you have heard it, you have done the practice, you do the repeat listening, and whenever you are free, even for 5 and 10 minutes, and start thinking about it. Play with these principles so they remain in your mind. And when they remain in your mind, you will never miss, you will have a self-discipline. And that self-discipline is required in the journey that results in awakening. Just understand it again. There is no problem in understanding. Many people writes to me that they understand it intellectually, but it becomes difficult for them to implement in life. And the simple answer is that we do not spend time to internalize that knowledge. The moment you internalize that knowledge, what it means, what is the meaning of internalization? That I am aware this is a priority for me. What is a priority for me? To bring an end to the suffering and to awaken to the permanent peace and happiness. That is what the spirituality is. And if it is not internalized, then what happens? The mind returns to its impulsive nature. It makes the things and the action priority, which causes the attachment, which causes the obsession, and I lose awareness. My master used to say, you have been doing the practice for 6 months and one day you miss it, you go back to the first state. It happens. We are studying from this master Narada. You remember the story, what happened to the Narada? Monkey face, you can recall it. And because monkey face, he lost it. He was a polymath. He knew astrology, he knew science, he knew the material science, and he knew all the traits in the material world. But he got attached to it, and that is why, and then he went into depression, and ultimately then he never left it. He restarted it again, and then he became one of the great masters. That is required. If that is not possible, then, so we were talking about what Narada says, the 4 root weaknesses. 4 root weaknesses, the desire. First is the binding desire. What is that desire? Desire for hunger? No. It is, we have to keep that desire. Desire for basic minimum needs, we have to keep that. But any desire that is searching peace and happiness outside, there we have to discipline the mind. That is the first thing. So it means if you do not play with the principles, your mind will not internalize and it will not look for those desires which is causing the attachment, can be left out. And the trigger and the agitation keeps the body fatigued, makes us lazy, we miss the session, we don't do the practice every day. So that trigger is kind of an agitation. You can just express in terms of anxiety or anger or irritation in our behavior and personality. So what is happening? Because of that, the mind repeats the same desire again and we forget the journey. So when you forget the journey, you have repeated the desire, it will create a cycle and ultimately we go back to the same. So again, look back from the point of view of internalization. So the master gave the 3 basic principles that discipline the mind. We have to do the practice regularly. The first time when you wake up in the morning, ask your mind or remind your mind, this is the goal of my life. And if you don't remember that goal, the mind says, what is my agenda? I have to meet this guy. Yesterday I had fought with this guy. I have to say sorry. The same stuff will repeat it again. The second principle that we say, we should have a sense of compassion. What does it mean, compassion? Go to the opposite. The moment the mind starts blaming, complaining, reacting to a situation, to a person, to a thing, we have to stop this. It should replace by the sense of kindness. It's okay. Tell your mind that no situation outside is responsible for my suffering, for my pain, for my duality. Nothing is responsible. It is only my mind inside. I have internalized the wrong notion, the wrong ideas. That is why it is happening. And the third is, we have to, instead of being a consumer, we have to become a contributor. You think in terms of contribution, that how can I contribute? Even keeping silence is a giving nature. Your kids are behaving in a nasty way. Oh, let me withdraw myself. I should not raise my ego to say that, no, I'm your dad and mom, so listen to me. You have to listen to me. No, I have to be a giving nature. That withdrawals. So the more you play with these principles, your mind is going to change. and the mind is going to bring that sense of purity. The fourth root weakness is the fear. Why we have taken the extreme case of the fear of death? It is an extreme. There is a fear of losing money, there is a fear of losing recognition, fear of losing what we have earned in terms of reputation and recognition. So fear of death is the extreme. So we take the fear of death as an example to understand that we can deal with all the other fears, my friends. So fear of death is an extreme fear. You have to play with it. These simple statements as discussed by this master. Do we know the date of birth? Yes, we know it. 1st January 1950. So before 1st January you did not exist? No, I was in the womb of the mother. So how come it is the date of the birth? The first wrong notion. So now tell me, is it the date of birth of a body or date of birth of you? If you consider that I am the body, obviously that is your date of birth. But again we have a wrong notion. We were in the womb of the mother. What about exactly before the fertilization? I'm just giving you some idea to think over it, because it's a little higher principle and not big deal to understand. So before the fertilization, did you not exist? How can I tell you I was not conscious? So the consciousness is nothing but the knowledge. Consciousness is aware. Body is not aware. Fertilization takes place in the material part of the body. So the consciousness was there before? Yes, it was there before. So there is no date of birth for me. I'm just leaving that part there. We will have to understand that. Consciousness was not transferred during the fertilization. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Just very simple. I will explain it further. It means consciousness was ever present. Yes, it was present before. So did the consciousness enter into the physical body and it has given the birth? Consciousness enclosed in the body is called as a birth. Consciousness was present before. Even if this body is left out, consciousness will remain present. That is in one-liner the way to awaken to that spiritual consciousness. But we are talking about the fear of the death. Pay attention, the fear of the death, it means, come back to the fear of the death. Fear of death means fear. Do I know the fear of death? I don't know the death. In a waking state, I cannot die. Being conscious and not being conscious is a distance between the being alive and being dead. So one thing is very clear, that I do not know my death. It is unknown. It is unknown. Think of it again and again. Think of it again and again. Now this unknown has two categories. Some things are unknown that can be known. I don't know the functioning of the mouse, so I can know the functioning of the mouse. And the another category is, it is unknowable. Where is the end point of the space? Unknowable. I cannot know it. There is no way. But I can infer it, that it is infinite. So now bring, what about the death? Is the death not known yet? Can be known in the future? No, it is unknowable. It is unknowable. Think. Just contemplate. So if it is not known, and unknown has two categories. One category is it can be known in the future, the death lies in the future, and when I die, I cannot know what is death. So we say unknowable. So I'm not deviating. You stick to this. Now, why I have a fear of that is not known to me? Why I have a fear that is not known to me? So Master answers in a simple way. I have a fear of the death. It is, this statement is quoted in a sense. This sentence is superimposed over the fear of losing what I have acquired, what I possess. I have a fear of losing this body. I have a fear of losing my desires which are still incomplete. My mind has a fear of losing my identity. It is not the fear of the death. I believe you all are getting it. So fear of death is a wrong statement. I have a fear of losing. That's why even, the person who is in the hospital, 99 years old, fear of losing this, my present status, my present possession. That is wrongly understood as the fear of the death. On one side, the fear of death is that death is unknowable. So still I have a fear. I experience it. It is very clear. I experience it. So that experience is fear of losing what I have, what I possess, and what I am. And what I possess, what I am, what I have pertains to the ego. Commander-in-chief, we already discussed. Commander-in-chief comes from the ignorance, and it lives with likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow, hatred and the jealousy. Ultimately, the cycle of birth and the death continues. So you see the four root weaknesses. Desire first. Trigger or agitation in the mind is second. If I have an anxiety, it is related to some desire. Can you have an anxiety or anger or agitation without having a desire? Just think of it. So when you internalize this knowledge, what is going to happen? You wake up in the morning and you are in anxiety. The first thing that you want to know, which desire is causing me this anxiety? I'm pulled by some unknown forces to do a certain thing which I should not have done. It is the third root weaknesses. Why I am frustrated? Because I want to repeat the desire, and that I'm unable to find that situation, and then that's why I'm frustrated and I want to repeat that desire. And all the three factors contributes to the last root weaknesses, which is the fear of the death. Do you have a fear of death every day? No, many days passes so peacefully. I'm full of happiness and the joy. I feel the lightness in the entire body. In those moments, the first three factors are absent. And when these three factors are absent, if there is a genuine fear of the death, genuine, then I should live in fear 24/7. Then I cannot smile. I cannot live happy life. Genuine, I'm saying genuine. If the real cause of the fear of the death is known, I cannot live in peace and happiness. I cannot smile. I don't have a joy. Are you getting it? Say yes even if you are not getting, so that you have time to rethink. At this moment, when I'm talking to you, do you have a fear of death? So if it is genuine, it will continue. You try to avoid, it will return back. For those people that fear of the death returns back, they are totally obsessed with the first three factors: the desire, that trigger, the sense of anxiety, and a repeat desire, which is also known as the greed. Greed means what? I have a fear of losing what I have attained, what I can attain, what I can possess, what I will procure. And these are the two sides of the coin of the life. This is what this Narada is explaining. Narada has underwent the same experiences which we have undergone, or which we are undergoing in our daily life. So when we internalize this knowledge, what happens? For example, you like pasta, you have a craving for it. Now you see the pasta, but now the craving is absent. Pasta is available, you take it. So there is no sense of losing it because you are not attached to it. But if pasta is not there, other food is available, you take that food. The mind maintains that sense of equilibrium. And that is the purity of the mind required to awaken to that spiritual consciousness, or you say the real self. That sense of equilibrium is there every day in your life. You wake up in the morning, you are talking to people, you are doing your business, but that sense of equilibrium, that sense of equanimity in the mind is maintained. Why the equanimity is maintained? Because now the likes and dislikes are treated very well. Joy and the sorrow with reference to the outer situation, people, relations are treated very well inside your mind. Why it is happening? Because you have internalized the knowledge. If you do not internalize the knowledge, this is not going to happen, my friend. Then you will say, no, I have understood, I have attended the session of this beer guy, he talks good, but there is a problem. He does not understand my problem. He does not understand your problem. There is a universal problem in the human race of attachment and detachment, of likes and dislikes, of joy and sorrow. It's a universal problem that causes the human conflict. But still you say, I do not, this beer guy does not understand my problem. I have some special problem. I have a special problem. Why? Because I am a special guy. Where lies the problem? Commander-in-Chief. I discussed a lot. Do you see that? I am special. Why? Because I am suffering with some special things in life. No, it's a universal problem of the entire human race. Because it is a universal problem, that is why the teachers of the Eastern wisdom are known as the teachers of the world. Great teacher. Why? Because it's a universal problem, not because of their ego. Are you getting it? Not because they have a big ego. No, it's a common problem. We treat the root cause of the problem. So every day you have, how to check that you have internalized the knowledge? Every day you wake up in the morning, don't you have a time for 5 or 10 minutes? During the day, don't you have a time for 5-10 minutes? So what has happened? What is priority in my life? To reach to that state of awakening, or to please my mind with the short-term pleasures? And that takes a little time. That takes a little time. That is how the Narada, this master, explains. Now he he has addressed he has addressed the 4 root weaknesses which we can feel, which we normally experience in our daily life. Then he talks about 4 inner instruments. So in the inner instrument we have a grief you can say, suffering, and the delusion. Third problem is the hypocrisy, and the fourth problem is the injury. We may do the physical violence, we may do the emotional violence, we may do the emotional or mental violence to the other people. Dad, why don't you understand? I'm suffering. Another dad also does not know the Eastern wisdom, and they pat on your shoulder and they say, okay, you are crying, I am also crying. So he discusses the 4 main challenges that we have been suffering. You see that universal problem of desire, binding desire, universal problem of anxiety, hesitation, trigger. You can add other words, modern words. And the third is the repeat desire, that is also known as the greed, and the fourth is the fear. So after addressing that, he says, still I have a sense of grief and the delusion. 2 basic problems, grief and delusion, and 2 other problems of sense of hypocrisy and the injury. I injure emotionally, mentally, and physically. So because we are intellectuals, so we take an clever route. We can hurt people emotionally. We can hurt people mentally. So that we will discuss, we will understand in our next session. Now, simple, what is the goal of life? To point to you, I'm just pointing out. What is the goal of life? Goal of life is to evolve, to awaken. Goal of life is to recognize and realize the real self. What is the common desire of all the living species? All the living species, you include all the insect and elephants. From insect to elephant, you touch the insect, they are looking for also the peace, they will flee. COVID virus multiplies in our body for the sake of their existence. It is dangerous for me, that's a different thing. It's a natural inclination of all the living species to be in peace and happiness. Okay, then what is the end of the suffering and discovery of permanent happiness? Buddha says, another master says, it is known as nirvana. Another word of nirvana is known as kaivalya. Another word you can say awakening. And there is another master who said, then answers the question, what is nirvana? What is awakening? Simple answer, it is self-knowledge. What is self-knowledge? It is knowing that I am the real self, I am not the pseudo-self, I am not the false self, that guides me through my desire, through my hesitation, through my fear of the death, through the delusion, that is not me. And once we remove that, we live into that state of awakening, because that is my essential nature. My friends, think of it, contemplate daily. We all are seekers. Close your eyes. Let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. Body is comfortable. So you all are seekers. Do you still remember? That is what I said, internalization of the knowledge. What I said? Body is comfortable? Yes. You instantly recognize this body is now comfortable. It is in the state of comfort and steadiness. Simple. There is no struggle. If there is a struggle, then we need to go for a detailed explanation of being comfortable. And if your mind is able to maintain that state, you are comfortable, you have extended that period of the comfort and also the carefree. You are there. It is not only intellectual understanding. I have been repeating it again and again. If you do it, if you have intellectual understanding, you do not implement it, that results into intellectual fantasy. That is what we discussed. So, with that, I claim that you all are seekers, hence, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. So now check how your mind responds to this knowledge. Again, I'm stressing on the point of internalization. Your mind completely absorbs into the notion that happiness is the essential nature of every being. I have no right to disturb anyone's happiness. That discipline is required. And at the same, I have no right to disturb my happiness. Okay, then I can sleep until the 9 a.m. every day. So I'm hurting myself. And I continue to do that. It will not work. Sarvesham. So you see that how many interpretations of this mantra I have given? Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. No, I am always peaceful if I wake up very late, I go to the workplace late, I attend the session, every session late. So it means what? What I like to do it, I do it, but I'm not supposed to do it. There we need a discipline. The knowledge is not internalized. Simple and clear. We are talking of the peace. Again, look from that perspective. If peace is my essential nature, let me see that I live in peace and I should not disturb the peace of others. Because teacher always disturbs the peace of seekers because of the wrong notion. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. In every statement of this mantra lies the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom. Why I am explaining? Because you are internalizing that knowledge. And that is what you need to do it by yourself. How can you say, may there be a sense of completeness, sense of completeness in me? Now just go opposite for a while. I have a sense of incompleteness, so I want to feel complete. How? Going into the world, doing certain things, fulfilling the desire. So when I fulfill the desire, I become the enjoyer, I become the experiencer. But that pleasure is short-lived. So I again make an effort, and I continue to make an effort until I die. I am already engaged in the cycle of the birth and the death. You see, the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom is concluded. May there be a sense of completeness in me. So when you internalize that knowledge, you instantly become aware. You were upset with somebody, including me, and the next moment you remember the principle, your upset is gone. If it is gone instantly, you are a higher seeker. Who is going to check? You yourself. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be auspiciousness for all. You have to extract the auspicious moment anywhere, anytime in your life. Why? Existence always offers the moment of auspiciousness in any location, in any relation in your life. That is the meaning of internalization of the knowledge. If you do not internalize, your mind will run after the same old things in a new way. You all are seekers, so teacher has to be a little tough to point you out. So if you feel bad about it, you have to look into it. What makes you feel bad? With that, now we will go for the breathing. Look deep inside your forehead in the space. Pick a point in the space and start dropping Om Shanti there. Okay? And start breathing quick and short breath into the chest. Continue. There is an expansion and contraction of the rib cage. That is where your focus is. Your focus is also on the sensation, comfort, and steadiness of the body. Your focus is also on the point in the space inside the forehead. And your focus is also on dropping the Om Shanti with a pause. I have already explained what it means by the pause. Continue. We are not only checking the level of endurance of the mind. Again, understand with reference to these four root weaknesses. the endurance will be very low on a given day when you are doing the breathing practice. It will be very high. You will find the breathing is absorbing the mind deeper within. Continue. And stop it. Do nothing. Remain as it is. Just so. Do you remember? You recognize and accept the changes. Changes means what? You have new experiences. And these experiences may be good and bad. So both are good for me. Why? I recognize the resistance posed by the mind. It means I have still a lot of impurities to deal with it. I should be committed to the journey. I'm just giving you an idea. Again, starting the Om Shanti. And start breathing from the belly. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly contracts with a little noise. Your mind says, I cannot do it, and you still do it. You endure the pain. My master used to say that you endure a pain little more than the previous week. You are entering into a discipline. That is the key. Who stops doing the belly breathing? It is the mind. What causes the mind to stop it? It is the impurities. One word, if you expand it, we have already expanded in this session. You see, if you do not take into account the previous sessions, you have not internalized, my words will not matter too much. The blame and complaint game will continue. You see, look at the entire scenario of the mind. Continue. Continue. Your mind will manipulate the breath and it will say, oh, let me do it slowly. So it has changed the pattern. So the mind causes a very sweet action to go back to its likes and dislikes. That needs to be recognized. I believe you're getting, everyone is getting. And stop it, recognize the changes, accept the changes. You also have a recognition of any resistance that you felt. What kind of resistance? The mind switches on to it changes the breath. And your mind forgets that what you are doing is the belly breathing. So these are, and then your body starts moving. So when you recognize and you endure that, it removes the hypocrisy. First, we have to get rid of the hypocrisy with oneself. Then only we can take care whether we are doing it in the society. And now Om Shanti continues deep inside the forehead in the space at a point in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, and start doing the both belly and the chest breathing together in one breath. That is why I say it is a long, deep, and the hissing breath. You hear the noise of the breath. There's a lot to go in the breathing. Please continue. You experience the expansion of the belly and the rib cage. You Experience the contraction of the belly and the rib cage. And stop this, do nothing. Again, I said, recognize and accept the changes that is taking place, or you are experiencing those changes. Now, our goal is to steady those changes. So, every time, whether you are doing for a 1 minute of breathing or 10 minutes, you instantly enter into that experience. So, what you should do then, you can stop it even in a minute. You're already there. But if it doesn't happen every day, that is where we are understanding and heading to. Look inside the heart, cave of the heart, visualize the triangle of any color. So you see that your mind becomes subtle when I say visualize the triangle of any color. So you have to, your mind also sees the contrast in the background. And then Om Shanti, sync. So there is a sync. I told you, pointed awareness. You are aware of the body in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You are aware of the triangle. You are aware of the background. You are aware of movement of the mind on the side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti. You are also looking for a sync. When the clockwise and anti-clockwise syncs, you feel that syncing is taking place. Now, I believe you all understood. You are pushing the mind by singing mentally Om, as if the mind is going deep inside, seemingly stops. Shanti, and after that you do nothing. There is a kind of self-absorption. So why I leave you with that? Because then it is your turn, not out of ego. I tell you. So there is a cognition of self-absorption. You might have been seeing me that I have been using these phrases. I will explain them in the following session, which will help us approach near to the awakening. And now leave this, go with the japa, and you are very clear. Mind's eye, mind's tongue, mind's skin, the mind's ear are doing this japa, Om Shanti. So you see what is going to happen. Sometime your mind says Om and it waits. You become aware of all the senses and then you say Shanti. Sometime it will be very smooth. Om Shanti. And again, so there are many layers of the experiences. You move to the third segment, you feel the vibe, sensation of touch, and then you sing. So sometimes it happens sequentially, and sometimes it happens concurrently. You see, this is the subtler level we need to recognize. And if it is happening concurrently, I need not to say, you have a beautiful experience. Beautiful. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences, and if you have any question, how are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Um, Contemplation reflection continues, and understanding the lessons more and more with each um, time spent contemplating and reflecting it. Meditation was effortless. It was just in a blank, vast space that I could have probably continued to just be sitting here and struggle to come out. So thank
Yeah,
you.
beautiful. First two breathing we did 4 minutes each, and the third we left it for 3 minutes. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. Great lesson. And what I took from that lesson that I brought into the meditation is the mantra, in addition to the Om Shanti, is peace is the essential nature. And so I had this very sort of smooth, beautiful, light meditation. It was just, there was nothing. And to Stephen's point, a hard time coming out.
Yeah, beautiful. Hard time coming out, obviously, it's a kind of self absorption that we feel. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sure, I'm good. So the meditation was deep, peaceful. The takeaway for me was that I'm aware of the mind trying to create homeostasis and peace outside
Yeah,
when sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't, and that's it's almost futile.
yeah,
to
yeah.
it just should withdraw and bring myself in where the peace is always there.
Yeah, yeah. You use the word homeostasis. Yes, there is a homeostasis at the physiological and biochemical level. So we are talking of homeostasis at the emotional and the mental level. You're right. That's a beautiful. How are you, Christina?
Thank you very much. Today I had an absence of resistance through
Beautiful.
the breathing practices and enveloped in an indigo color halfway through all the way till the end, and I also wanted to stay there much longer.
Ah, everyone more or less has the same experience. I appreciate this. You see, one thing, Christina joined much later and she also did it for 4 minutes. So it is the mind and the mental awareness that is required. You can do even for 10 minutes. Normally, in physical exercise system, we say that okay, you go to the gym, do it for 5 minutes and then increase for another 5 minutes. It doesn't work in Eastern West. It takes into account that state of the mind. If it is clear, if it is aware, you can even go for 10 minutes of the breathing. So we have to get rid of that idea. How are you, Sam?
I'm really good. The quick, short, and fast breathing was super easy today, but it still felt like, like a 10-minute thing, but it wasn't, obviously. Um, every part of it is getting easier and easier to compartmentalize and focus on. There was a moment during the chest belly breathing where I started thinking about something. I don't remember what it was, and then I just had to remind myself what we were doing and where we were. And that was really it.
Yeah, when we start thinking, it is a distraction of the mind, and when we return back. So there are two parts, whether we are succeed in doing a longer breathing, two part, whether we do it with the resistance and I endure it, that is going to help me, or I just do it casually, it went through normally, and then it becomes very difficult to come out of the meditation. So that indicates a kind of self absorption. How are you, Dennis?
Good. Meditation was really deep today. It seemed like it ended too soon.
Good.
So it like went in a flash. So that's
That's really good. Yeah, it is more or less the same experience. Everyone, it becomes difficult to come out of it. It went through soon. Do you see that when we say we did almost for 30-35 minutes, and the mind says it went so soon? Can 35 minutes can go very soon or can last easily? No, 35 minutes is 35 minutes. So it is a perception of the mind. So if the perception of the mind changes, that is where the awakening lies. How are you, Terry?
It's interesting. I had a lot of struggle, but it was aware and peaceful
Peaceful.
at the same
I like this.
time, simultaneously. But
Yeah,
I had a little pain. I had
yeah.
and you were saying it at the same time. Be aware of your experiences.
Yeah.
And they were not. It was not easy, but it was easy at the same time. That's unusual for me. That was interesting.
Yeah, we do it, and that is what I explained. I endure the discomfort. Mind is saying, don't do it. I endure it. That is one part of the journey. And I went through it smoothly. That is the another part of the journey. So we have these multiple experiences until we find that even if you don't do the breathing, you can still be into the same state. So that is the third pointer, and that is where we are heading to. You will be there. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So mind was absorbed. It was like I'm in a state where I can check my mind that what is bringing, and I can question it that why it is bringing that. And if it is suffering from that, then I can also say this that suffering will not solve this thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So come out of it and be at peace, and it will go away. So mind will feel absolutely free and calm.
I always love your interpretation. Everyone has your own experiences and you give the interpretation. That is why you see it does not, our Eastern wisdom does not believe on the belief and the cult and the dogma. Your experiences will help you to progress. But if you don't follow that discipline, it doesn't work that way. How are you, Ashok? Beautiful ever. Peace and cool. Right. Beautiful. Very good. So you see that idea. He met with such a severe accident, and you get rid of those wrong notions. Whatever has to happen will happen in the life. How you take the outer situation, the challenges in the world with the state of equanimity of the mind means I live in meditation 24/7. That is